Hello, this is Andrew with $1million.bike. In general, I am a big fan of tubeless tires. I don't think I have any non-tubeless setups anymore. Road, gravel, or on the fat bike, it's all tubeless. But there is one thing I am not a big fan of when it comes to tubeless, and that's a little bit of maintenance that you need to do periodically. Usually go for once a year, but sometimes it goes a little longer than that. And that's that you got to take the tire off every now and again and clean it out, clean all the sealant out. Every year is a good metric for me. Here in Chicago, generally don't ride that much outside in the wintertime, so I don't do, I don't spin the tires and do the maintenance and keep the air all the way up for all the tires all year round, or during the cold period. I have a race on Saturday, so I gotta get to this because I need to make sure it works. Everything's working order. There are a couple things that you want to have on hand. You want to have a garbage can for the little bits of sealant. You're going to want to have a damp rag, ideally one that is slightly abrasive. Not too abrasive, just there's some mechanical action that's involved here. If you're using like a microfiber, that might not work, or you're using like a baby diaper, that also might not work as well. This is just like a shop towel from Costco. Tire lever. This is optional and not necessarily for taking the tire off, although if you need that, use it to take the tire off. And then some kind of bin-like thing to hold any extra sealant that might be in here. So step one, let the air out of the tire, obviously. Now we're just going to take the tire off. So the key to getting a tire off in almost every case is just to get everything in that center channel if your wheel has one, and then you just take the tire and pull it off. If there is sealant in there, this one has a little bit, just empty that out. And then I like to just get the worst of it so they're not making a mess. If I lay the tire down, I usually start with the rim. Oh, that was a chunk. I don't know if you saw it. I picked that up off the floor. That was from the last tire I did. These are the things that you're looking for. You want to get those out because this thing can stop sealant from flowing inside the tire, which, is counterproductive to the goal of getting the sealant to the hole or the puncture. And so if you have a lot of this stuff in there and it stops the sealant from getting there, it's not going to work very well. So grab your rag. I usually start at the valve core and I just start wiping it. And it should come off pretty easy. This is where your tire lever comes in. It's not as big of a problem with a hookless rim like this one, but if you have hooked rims, a lot of times you'll get dried sealant up inside the hook, and it's hard to get it out. And so you can use the tire lever. Just make sure that you press into the rag, and then just gently move it along that rim to clear out any cruft in that tire junction area, because anything that's in there is going to make the tires harder. Is going to make it harder for the tire to seal properly. So yeah, then you just kind of walk around, clean it out, make sure that you inspect your valve. If there's anything in there, sometimes you can blow it out with, like an air compressor or a pump or something. If it's wide enough, you can get a Q-tip in there and clean it out. Sometimes a pick is good. But basically, you just want to make sure that that's clean too. If you have taped rims, like these guys, this is a great time to inspect the tape. I don't have a great number for how long tape usually lasts, so I usually just inspect it when I'm doing this, unless I have a problem. So yeah, just get this nice and clean. Working your way around with your damp rag. I would not use a dry rag for this. Although I guess you could. It's just, I don't know. This doesn't seem like a good idea. It shouldn't take very long to do this, either on the rim or for the tire, but the tire will take a little bit longer. All right, so that's a pretty good pass, first pass on the wheel. So let's put that to the side. Grab our rag. And like I said, the big thing that we're looking for is if there are any like big chunks of sealant in here. If there's a little bit like this, I wouldn't get too fussed about that, although, you know, it doesn't hurt to pull it out. The main thing that you want to look for is any junk that's along the tire, any junk that's along the tire bead here. And, you know, you just use your damp rag to create some mechanical friction along this tire bead. And there's water on there, and the water keeps it from damaging your tire, and it also makes it a lot easier to get it off. So you just kind of rip it around. It's usually a good idea to start at the logo so you know when you're back at when you're done. And then you just keep worrying it until you have this bead almost clean. And it doesn't have to be perfect here either. It just has to be no big things on it. So like, I'm not going to worry about this little tiny piece of sealant here, but as you can see here, there's a lot of sealant along this edge here that would create a problem between the tire and the edge of the rim. And so I want to get that off. And that should go really fast. You know, just a few back and forths. All right, so that's one side done. I'm going to spare you the other side. The final step is, as best as you can, lay down the tire and then just kind of push the rag down the middle. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, but this friction, this mechanical action, is going to take off the worst of the sealant that's in the middle. And then, you know, when you get around to the other side, you're done. And how long did that take? Maybe 5-10 minutes total? It's not too bad. I mean, it's annoying, but it's not too bad. I hope you found that useful. If you did, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below and I will get to them as soon as I can. Thanks.